Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's Jesse Washington, Projects Media, WIP Appeal, baby, with a super special live on location episode, Beaver Falls, PA, the home gym of Lance Jeter, the legend, the general. If you don't know, you're about to find out. Let's go. What's up, baby?
Appreciate you having me. Appreciate you coming here, man.
Yeah, man,
means
for sure.
A lot, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's great to be here in the gym that you grew up playing in. Just what are your memories of this arena right here and what you went through as you developed as a player?
I mean, there's so much memories. Obviously, my family played in here. Like me coming up, I was a water boy here. Like a lot of great teams, and obviously when I got the opportunity to play as a freshman here, start as a freshman, like just the memories of the pack house, just the rival games, the Aliquippa, the Quaker Valleys when they had Amir Johnson and stuff. Like those type of games pop out to me. Just games like just being sold out, just the whole community coming to watch you play. It was a blessing, man, to play my games here. Just to, like I said before, the pictures of the past players, the teams, just to know that you're playing for more than yourself. You're playing for a whole town. So, like I said, this is home right here.
That's amazing. So I want to start your story with your mother, Joy Jeter, who was an incredible player, National Division II champion, left college setting numerous top 10 categories in points and rebounds and things like that. When you were growing up, did you know your mom was like that when it came to this game?
I mean, probably not when I was a little young, but when I got a little enough to understand it, for sure. Like I said, like we grew up in my Washington projects, so like just that we had a basketball court right behind the building. So just my mom would always just looking out the window, watching us play, and just seeing her. As I got older, she was my coach, along with my uncle, Carlos Jeter. So she's the reason why, obviously, for the game of basketball, her and my uncle, and I'm very thankful, for her. That's
amazing, and it's also an unusual story to have a mom be the hooper who passes that on, and sort of coming full circle. Your mother is in the Beaver County Sports Hall of Fame. You are going to be inducted next month or two.
Yeah.
The first parent and child combination in the Beaver County Sports Hall of Fame, alongside of some great names, Joe Namath, Tookie James. Shout to, a little home team action right there.
Yeah, for sure.
What does that honor and that selection for you and your mom to be the first parent and child in the Hall of Fame mean to you?
It means a lot, because you start to think about ultimate sacrifices that she done for me so I could play the sport. Like I remember just a lot of plane tickets, a lot of road trips, AAU. I mean, she spent a lot of her money, a lot of savings just so I can live out my dreams and go to these different cities and different states to do what I love. So that's what I think about when I think about the Hall of Fame. I just think about the ultimate sacrifices of what she did for me, so me, my brother, and my family just can live out our dreams of playing the sports that we love. So that's what it means to me.
Is there any particular part of her game that you had in your career?
I would probably say the post-up game. Obviously, I'm a huge guard.
Not a big guard, a huge guard.
I'm a huge guard. So, I mean, even like throughout my high school, college, pro, always been probably the biggest guard. So just the post game, I probably got for her the hook shot, like just knowing, using my angles, the size of my body. Like she definitely probably the reason why taught me a lot about that. I mean, she, like I said, just the countless things that she did for me, I could just really remember. Like before big games in high school, she would leave sticky notes on the refrigerator of what I need to do for that game that day. If it was, most of the time it was probably rebounding. Lance, rebound today. So those are things I remember about just her always just being there. Even when she was at work, she always left her print on what I was going to do that night.
That's amazing. The rebounding thing is interesting because when I looked up your stats from Nebraska, which we'll get to later, you had set a number of marks in terms of the combination of assists and rebounds. So to be a point guard who was averaging close to 5 rebounds a game, 5 or 6 assists was different and special. The only other people that I saw doing that in your conference was Jamal Tinsley and Kirk Heinrich. So that's some good company to be in.
No, it was. And I just give credit to my coach, Doc Sadler. I had to earn that trust of grabbing that rebound and starting that break, and he letting me make my decisions on the fast break. So I owe it to him because he gave me a lot of leeway on that, and so I'm very appreciative of that. Like I said, I'm one of the guys that wants to rebound, and I want to get it up and going and make my teams look good, find my players, and so it worked out.
That's one of the best feelings and more incentive to go get the rebound when you know you could keep it and push it.
Yes, like I think that was like, it just, you don't skip a beat on that situation. Like you go get the board, and then my ability to dribble, I could just go. And my teammates understood that, so they just ran the floor, stayed wide, and it worked out for us, especially my senior year. It helped out a lot. Yeah,
that's what's up. So for those who don't know, there's a lot of Jeters doing a lot of things in a lot of sports over the years. Give me the quick rundown of the Jeter list of athletes.
Ooh, no, that's a lot of them now.
That might have to be a separate episode.
Yeah, it's a separate episode. Well, obviously, my family tree in Beaver Falls, obviously. My mother went to the University of New Haven for basketball. National Player of the Year, national champion, 3-time All-American. My Uncle Carlos went to University of Chattanooga, basketball. Obviously myself, I did football first, but University of Nebraska. My cousin Donovan Jeter, University of Michigan. That's my Uncle Carlos's son, youngest son. My cousin Shelton Jeter went to University of Vanderbilt first, then transferred to University of Pittsburgh. That's my other cousin, my Uncle Carlos. So, like, we have my cousin Isaiah, my Aunt Vicky's son. He went to University of Liberty and stuff. So, and it all comes from this summer, like in the summers, being here in the gym with my Uncle Carlos and just working and working. So, like I said, it's a family business, like pretty much. Like we all stick together, we all push each other. It got very intense in the summers, workouts, one-on-ones, like definitely wanting to fight type stuff. So, but we owe it all to our uncle and my mom, and just sticking together as a family.
That's what's up, man. That's great. So, perhaps the greatest playoff WPIAL game in the long, long history of the WPIAL, 2005 Beaver Falls versus Aliquippa. Before we get into the particular details of that game, can you just set up the rivalry between Beaver Falls and Aliquippa at that point in time?
Like, it goes back to before I was even born. Like, a lot of people don't. It kind of dumbed down a little bit now, just because the kids ain't like how we were and stuff. And to be honest, they've been very dominant, not just in football, but basketball. But that's why me and my brother are here, to hopefully get back to the old ways. They just joined our conference again this year, so hopefully we get back that old feeling of that rivalry. But just the rivalry alone, like I said, it goes back before I was born. But just the similarities of the same type of town, same type of people, and not just, to be honest, the outside not liking Beaver Falls, not liking Aliquippa. So you have that similarity, and then you have, most of the time, we're family. There's a lot of cousins in Aliquippa, and they have a lot of cousins here in Beaver Falls. So it's just that type of that competitiveness, that want to win, want to be champions. And like I said, that year, that 2005 year, Herb Pope just got back to Aliquippa. He was in Maryland. And so he just rolled back in Aliquippa. So he was like pretty much the talk of the whole WPIAL. Like they're going to take over pretty much.
What grade was he in 2005?
He was a sophomore that year, and I was a junior.
Okay. So what was Herb like as a player at that point?
you don't see a 6'8" guy that can do it all. Like that's what. There wasn't no 6'8s in like that around here. Like not in Beaver County. So you got Herb who can shoot, pass, drive to the hole. He's an all-around player. So it definitely some shockwaves when he came back. I mean, a lot of people pretty much gave them the championship. So that was one of the motivations, especially for me, because it was like sophomore year we lost in the WPIAL Championship to Darrell Reeves and them. So that was tough. So we had everybody pretty much coming back. So we feel like it was our year. And then Herb came, so it was kind of like, don't forget about it. Like, we're back. Like, so we kind of took it, you know what I mean? That's kind of disrespectful. So, like I said, that first game here, we won by 29, like, start to finish, like, blowout. That second game was, at their place, they won. Got a lot more physical, kind of got away with it, and it worked in their advantage. And then, obviously, like you said, we'll talk about the championship game and stuff, but that was, you know what I mean?
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So years and years of history going into it. Was it bad blood or was it healthy competition? Was it a little bit of both?
It's bad blood. It's bad blood.
Just call it what it is.
Because it pours over to outside.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's the honest truth. You don't want it, but it pours over to the outside. Like, there's many occasions where that McDonald's parking lot was filled. It was fighting. It was fighting. Cops were called. Like, it doesn't matter. And it don't have to be after just basketball, football, track, like dances. Like, it don't matter. Like, you didn't like them, and they ain't like us. And obviously, it comes down to sports, who's the best. And it poured over to outside of sports.
Competition.
Yeah.
So all of this leads up to the championship game. Y'all split in the regular season, and we're right before halftime, and y'all are down. I'm sorry, right before the end of regulation, and y'all are down 3. Was there a huddle? Walk us through your memory of that, of the end of regulation in that game.
It's just like, but you give credit to Coach Biega, my uncle, Coach Carlos, Coach Cicero. It's just we've been through a lot of situations where you don't panic. Like, we've been down a lot. We've been down 10 before in that year. With 2 minutes left, we came back and won. Like, you just have that sense of calmness. You look into your coach's eyes, and they're not sweating, they're not looking panicked, and then you have that belief that you can win. So we've been, like I said, we knew it was going to be a dogfight. We knew it was going to come down to the last shot, and unfortunately, I mean, happily, it came to me. I mean, I've been used to those shots. I want those shots. You know what I mean? I live forward to those shots. So just to send that to overtime, it was a great feeling, and I kind of felt it was our year.
So once you're, the half-court buzzer beater to send it into overtime, did you feel like you had momentum at that point?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, just remembering the game, Herb Pope was in foul trouble. Like, so it was like, I feel like it was on our side. Like, I felt like no one was more in shape than us that year. We ran a lot. That was the year, like, we played Freedom, won by 20 that year at Freedom. Our coaches did not like the way we played. So after the game, they was like rebuilding something outside. He made us go get our practice stuff on, go get the bricks that they was left out there, come in here, and we had to run with bricks, run the steps with bricks on top, because he didn't like the way we performed, because he thought we was lackadaisical that game. Even though we won by 20, he wasn't satisfied. So after that, we had a 2-hour practice. Got home like 11:30, 12. Like, but that's, nowadays, you can't do that. The police is getting called. But like, back then, were we mad? We was probably pissed off. But we understood. It helped us in the long run, and we appreciate it in the long run.
Shout to Coach Biega.
Coach Biega, Coach Carlos, man, It was like boot camp, man.
Bricks after the
Bricks.
game.
I'm talking about literally big bricks. And we picked on our heads. We had to run the whole steps. It was one of those practices, man, right after a game.
Yeah. I think you and your brother could try that here in the year.
Oh, man, we'd be fired. We'd be fired. We'd be fired.
Oh, man. So the game continues, 1 overtime, 2 overtimes. You're in the 3rd overtime. As the 3rd overtime is starting, what are you thinking?
Yeah, somebody got to win. I remember I was just looking at Coach Carlos. I was looking at the video, like, and my head's down. I'm tired. And he's giving you that look like, come on, come on. So it's like you just find the extra boost, like where you don't want to lose. Like, you don't want to lose to them. Like, we just lost to them last year. Like, you won't hear the end of it. So it's like you got to find an extra gear to go. And we found it. Like I said, we found it. People always say, like, they talk about the shot, which is amazing stuff. But I'm like, you take away the shot, like, I still had 34. Like, they be trying to, like, they always talk about the shot, and they are the lucky shot. I still gave y'all 34 points before that. Like, it's just, that's what it was, and you want it or not.
And it was only on 16 shots.
Yeah, like, I ain't was like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not, obviously I was like leading player and like the leader along with Jack Anderson and stuff, but I'm a pass person type of guy. Like, I like to push the ball up. So, but it was just one of those games where it had to be.
It had to be. So Quip comes down, layup with like under 5 seconds left, no timeouts left, quick inbound, you catch it. What are you thinking at that moment?
Just get it off in time. Like, that's all, just get it off in time. I knew we got a good outlet from Jack Anderson, so I'm just thinking, just get the ball off in time. And then whatever happens, happens. Like I said, we practice these shots every day, fooling around, whatever it is. But we always practice half-court shots, just fooling around and stuff. So it felt natural, it felt good, like I said. But at the end of the day, it's hit or miss. I mean, I felt good when I shot it. Throw it up, leave the rest is history. Like, you live what it is. You miss it, I'll probably been crying, but I didn't miss it. So,
but 2 buzzer beaters in one game, like that I think that's part of what elevated it up to the mythical status that it has now. In addition to being 3 overtimes and Beaver Falls versus Quip. How often do people to this day talk to you about that?
Definitely around this time they talk about it a lot, especially like Aliquippa, cause like it still hurts them. Like, it's still, cause that was one of their better teams in the history of Aliquippa. Like I said, top from bottom. Herb Pope, obviously, Jonathan Baldwin. He was a freshman, just raw talent. So thank God he was that young, cause I don't think he kind of knew what he was until he got older. But then you just have a lot of good players on there on both ends who just want to win. Like, so you just think about it, just amazing because it's them, how it went down. Like, it's satisfying because it was Aliquippa that it happened to.
Yeah, for sure. So you've mentioned a lot of great names already that you played against in high school. Darrell Revis, Herb Pope, Jonathan Baldwin. Who are some of the other people that you competed against in high school that you really remember?
I say this all the time. There's my favorite athletes, obviously Darrell Revis. Like, I tell this story all the time. Like, his senior year, they won states in football. That's where he scored 5 touchdowns, 5 different ways. Like, amazing. 2-3 days later, we played him in Aliquippa. He just got off of football. He gave us like 32, 34 points. 3 days after playing football. I waited as we got older, but as I got older, I'm like, that's just amazing. Like, he's one of my favorite athletes, and we're like almost the same age. Adam DeMichael at Stowe Rocks, 3-sport athlete, amazing point guard, amazing quarterback, threw 90 miles per hour baseball. Like, he's definitely one of those athletes that I enjoyed playing against. just
His son's
competitive.
playing at Duquesne right now.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he's at Nebraska right now coaching.
Yep.
So Adam is definitely one of my favorite athletes that I played against, Terrell Pryor. I caught Terrell, obviously, his freshman, sophomore year. They never beat us. But it's just like Jonathan, like, it's just that raw talent. Like, you can see how great he's going to be. He just wasn't there yet until he got his junior, senior, and then just a man amongst boys. So, I mean, those the names that kind of stick out. Obviously, Amir Johnson, Quaker Valley, great point guard, D1 point guard, could shoot, shifty. Steve Muniz, Shenango, 2,000-point scorer, went to Akron. Like, those are players that you go to battle with, and you know you're gonna have to bring it. So those are the games I remember.
That's a great legacy. What was AAU like for you when you were in high school?
It was fun.
Who'd you run with?
I ran with J.O.'s Traveling Stars, J.O. Jots, Pittsburgh Jots.
Oh, the Jots.
Yeah.
The Jots are legendary.
Yeah, I was with the Jots, so I always played up, played ahead. So I was with, we had a decent team. Like I said, I played up with guys, Big Ben, he played a yacht, went to NC State. But the famous team is the team below us, obviously, with Jonathan, Herb Pope, DeJuan Blair, Terrell Pryor. That was the team, the Josh team, the 16U team. That was amazing. Like, but it was fun. It was fun. Like I said, it was good AAU basketball. Traveled a lot and just got to experience different cities, different big schools, and play against some great competition.
Wow. So you were all state in football and basketball.
Yeah.
And then you initially went to the University of Cincinnati on a football scholarship.
Yeah.
What was your position?
Wide receiver.
Okay. So what was that? Why did you make that decision to go play football in college at first?
I'm thinking ahead, thinking about, I'm trying to get to the NFL. Like, I'm trying to, especially the University of Cincinnati at that time, we was in the Big East. It was, Big East back there was powerful. The schedule that we was playing, I'm thinking Ohio State, Virginia Tech, like Pitt, obviously. I'm thinking about playing in these big games and big arenas and want to get to the NFL. So that was my mindset. Like, I wasn't as big, but I had a nice structure, 6'3", 190.
190 coming out of high school. Okay.
So I was like a good typical wide receiver. Like, I was fast, could catch. Like, so it was like the thing to do. Like, I wanted to play football, and when I got there, I was obviously doing all the football stuff, but after football practice, I would go practice with the basketball team. So that was my thing. Like, I was football, study, go practice with the basketball team. I mean, so.
How'd you stack up with them?
I hold my own. And they asked me to play. I wasn't mature enough to play both sports, though. Like, my grades was slipping. I could be honest about it. And so I had to focus on what I came there for, was football. So Coach Nick Crow, he was there at the time. He asked me to play. I said yeah first, but my grades wasn't holding up, so I decided not to play.
Do you think that you were influenced to go the football route because of Western Pennsylvania and this really being as many hoopers as we got, there's many more football players? Do you think that the football culture in this area influenced you to pursue football instead of basketball?
I think it did. Like I said, I had some great schools in basketball, George Washington, Kent State, Akron and stuff, and Duquesne and stuff. But I mean, football, that offer from Cincinnati it was a big time one for me, and I wanted to be in the bright lights. I wanted to be in the big stage, the big conference, so that's why I chose it. And like I said, when I was there, I was just progressively missing basketball a lot, so that's when the decision happened.
Wow. So what was that transition like to go from Cincinnati and say, all right, I'm actually going to do this basketball thing. I'm going to go down to Polk Community College in Florida and regroup. What was that decision like? How did that get made?
Oh, man. So when I decided to leave Cincinnati, I got a call from Akron right away. like 2 days later saying they wanted me to come to Akron for basketball. So I kind of gave them a verbal. Then so like I went to visit and stuff. My uncle said, "Let's think about this." My uncle, he's a firm believer. Like he really believed in us, and he believed in me. He said, "Nephew, I think you're bigger than Akron." So I had to tell Coach Keith. So,
Keith Danbrock?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, legend in his own right.
Yeah.
I'm not a calm guy.
No, not. So I had to. By high school, I told him. I had to tell him I wasn't coming.
This was the second time you
Yeah,
told him no.
man, he was upset. He was upset. He was upset at me, but it turned out right. My uncle, he made me right decision. Like it was the right decision. Like so, we at first people don't know. I went to Hutchinson, Kansas first.
Oh, word.
Juco out there.
That's a big one.
That is a big one.
That's a big one.
And I went out there. I decided to go there, and it just didn't fit right. It didn't fit right. And Coach Matt Janet reached out to my uncle, and the rest is history. He's a legend here.
So you're kind of in a gray area. You're in nowhere, no man's land a little bit. Was there any moment when doubt set in?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Because I was in Hutchinson, and I realized I wasn't going to be there. I did a whole summer session there, like the whole summer there. I realized I wasn't going to be there, and this is before Coach Janet reached out. So I'm up here thinking like, man, this is my third school. Like I'm getting tired of this. Like I want to just be somewhere. So I was thinking about. I was talking to my big cousin, Carlos JETER. That's my uncle's oldest son. And I was like, he was at IUP for football. And I was just like, I just want to be somewhere, play. I just want to play. So I was like really thinking about like just going to IUP and just going there. And my uncle Carlos again said, you done lost your damn mind. We ain't going to IUP. Like, which was another good decision. Like, so Coach Janet reached out, and best decision I made, for sure.
So, Nebraska, you know, you go to Polk, you do your thing, you're one of the best Juco players in the country, and then you show up in where is it? Where is University of Nebraska?
Lincoln.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
When you got out there, what was that like?
I won't say it was different, but it was different. It was different to the part of I'm used to the farms and stuff, because we got them here, but it was a whole different level there. But you'd be surprised. A lot of people be surprised. Obviously, when they go off of Nebraska, they think about Nebraska. They think about obviously the cornfields. They think about the football team and Eric Crouch and the option, all that stuff. That's the two things they think about. So when I got there, it was a shock because it gave you that city, the city of. You got Omaha, so you got that. If we're being honest, that's the African American side, Omaha, and then you got Lincoln, so you have the best of both worlds, and you have that. If you want to be in Lincoln, you have that city, school, town type of vibe. If you want the city life, you go to Omaha. So it was nice. Like I love Nebraska. I love the people there. They treated me like family. They made me feel like home. It's no place like it. Like Nebraska is one of those places where it's special. Like they don't have no professional sports, so they invest everything into the school. And if you almost feel like you're a professional player when you're there.
And it helps when you got the rock from day one and you hooping. So at that time, Nebraska's in the Big 12, and the conference is stacked with top 25 teams: Kansas, Kansas State, Texas, Baylor. You started every game in your 2 years there, putting up real numbers, playing in some big arenas.
Yeah.
What are some of your memories of your biggest games there? Or like, what was it like to play at Kansas in Allen Fieldhouse?
Just Kansas alone, obviously the history of it, and you just 15,000, they doing trot, what do you call that thing? It's just coming down on you. It's coming down on you. And then you just think about the players that they have. Obviously, the player that I was obviously had to go up against was Sharon Collins.
Ooh, he was tough. People don't know about
Oh,
him.
he's super tough. Built just like me, just a little shorter. Just, you think about the history, the shots that he made, and just you had to bring it. They had the Morris twins. I played the Morris twins in the state championship my senior year. They
Oh,
was
really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they beat us my senior year in the States. So just a full circle, seeing them again and had to play them again, it was just, it's unreal. Like you said, you had those different arenas. You have Kansas, you have Texas. My junior year in Texas, they beat us by 40.
Ooh.
Dexter Pittman, Damian James. You have Hamilton. Like these are 4 or 5 players, NBA players. Like it was tough. My junior year. Obviously, Kansas State. You have Jacob Pullen,
Yep.
another Chicago legend. Tough, hit any big shot, quick. Like every night, I'm going against the top player. So that was the one reasons why I chose Nebraska in the Big 12.
That's amazing. Your numbers were super solid. Senior year, averaged like 12, 6, and 5. In that, one of the only players to average that amount of rebounds and assists in the whole conference. Had a 27-point game at Iowa State. What was that like?
I was just one of those games that we needed to win. We didn't win it, but we needed to win it to have a chance in the tournament. And that's just Coach Doc just putting the ball in my hands. I'm the leader, so go make things happen, go make plays. That day was mostly about scoring for me. And it felt good, especially being on the road. Every chance they felt like he was gonna pull away. I hit a big shot, just to hit a crowd, put their head down. It was the best feeling just to see them miserable. Like that's always a great feeling.
I'm getting a theme here. Aliquippa, Kansas State. You like putting that dagger in.
There's no better feeling, obviously, like when you're back against the wall, you're on the road, and you know that they don't like you. Kansas State was one of those where I don't know how they got all the information they got on me. They said my mother's name, they said my brother's name, they said my whole family tree. Like, but it was, you just do not, you could laugh. Like I just laughed, and it was just one of those where you just want to play good because you know they're all looking down. They don't want to see you win.
So now I see, having had a few matchups with you around the way, now I see where that edge comes from still. Like you still play with that edge.
No, for sure. It's just, like I said, it comes from being from here, Beaver Falls, just being tough. Like always play with the older kids. If it was across the way at Chains, that's across the way from the school, or if it was down Second Avenue. Second Avenue is a legendary playground here where a lot of the greats that played in Beaver Falls go. So just playing with that edge and playing tough, not wanting to lose and getting knocked down when he was young and had to get up. Can't cry, or you got to get off the court. Like that comes from a lot of places, urban cities, towns, where you got to be tough. You got to have thick skin if you want to play this sport. So it comes from being from here.
I agree, and a lot of kids now have everything handed to them basketball-wise. Here's your spot on the team, here's your jersey. You know, there's always another game tomorrow, and so it seems like it's that toughness is missing in today's era of kids.
Oh, it's definitely missing. A lot of kids don't play outside no more. It's inside gyms now, which at my age now, I don't disagree with them. I'm inside gym too now,
Yeah.
but as I was growing up, you got to be outside because that's where the games was at. You had to go to town, different outside playgrounds to play the best. And I'm fortunate enough where I'm old enough where I got to experience that and be part of that. So it definitely helped me be tougher. That's how you got because we didn't really know internet when it was internet, but not as big it is now with
No social media.
So your name had to get out there from word of mouth. People had to know you from seeing you with their 2 eyes. So I was able to go different places and get my name out there.
Yeah, and there wasn't no, these. You had to show up where someone else you knew was good. Go to their town, go to their city.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, and that's where second playground came into play because a lot of people came there to play basketball. So it was some great games down there. So I was fortunate enough to, like say, play with the older kids, and they gave me a chance to show what I could do.
Wow. So you had a great career at Nebraska, and then you went overseas to play in Europe and played in 4 or 5 different countries. And what was that transition like at first? I think the first place you played was Poland?
First player was the Netherlands.
The Netherlands, okay.
Yeah.
And so what was that transition like, not from a basketball point of view, but just in terms of life in general, the food, what you did in your spare time? How did you make that transition from America over there?
Just culture shock for sure, not knowing what is what. Thing about the Netherlands, Holland, is special because their second language is English. Like, that's what, like, it makes things a lot easier. Like, the transition was a lot better. I had 5 other Americans and who've been there, veterans, who helped me along the way, helped me, show me where the grocery store is, tell me what certain stuff means, make sure my internet plugs, the right plugs I had. Like, it helped a lot, and we're still close till today. They're like my brothers. A few of them was in my wedding. So it's like you have those, you build those relationships with people who already experienced being over there, and they help you along the way, and it meant a lot. It meant so much.
So what about on the court? What was the transition like from Big 12 basketball in the United States to pro in the Netherlands and these other countries?
So you have, like, the Big 12 just helped out so much because I come from playing in 15,000 arenas. Like, so being over there, the fans is totally different than America, obviously. So European is more rowdy. The fans are more rowdy. They're more engaged to it. So that was something I had to get used to, but just being around, surrounded by a lot of fans, I was not nervous about that. But just the rowdiness of it, shooting off flare guns, having, you know what I mean, having SWAT be around your bench because, like, so we had a game in my second year in Germany. We've had a Euro Cup game, Istanbul, Turkey, and the fans are just 20,000 fans are rowdy, flare, smoke going off. We got the SWAT surrounding our bench just so they don't throw nothing. Like, it's just one of those games like you want to be part of. Like, it's just amazing. Like, just to experience that. And I was still, that was my second year out. So just to experience that type of atmosphere in a big time game, like, it made me just fall in love with basketball even more.
That's amazing. So what about the players themselves? What type of talent, skills, dudes did you see over there?
So like I said, my second year was when I really got to experience just different players, the elite players, players who was in the NBA. So on my team alone, I had Allen Ray, University of Villanova, All-American, Boston Celtics.
Great player.
Showed me, I tell him till this day, like, I appreciate him for just showing me how to be a professional, how to show me the game, how to handle my business. Like, Allen, he's one of my favorite players I ever played with. Like, just playing with the guards he played with, the players he played with, and being with Boston. He was part of that Ray Allen trade.
Yep.
So just to hear his stories in the NBA and how he chose not to play with Seattle Supersonics. He chose to go to Italy. He got one of the biggest contracts ever, of $2 million. I remember, I'm name dropping, I'm telling his money, but he told me, when he told me that, it gives you that, just give you that motivation to want to strive for that. So he's like one of my favorite professional players because he just showed me the game. One of my younger players was Daniel Tice. He was also with Boston.
Oh, word, okay.
Yeah, so I played with him. He was on my team that year too. And just to see the development of him, how hard he worked to get where he is now, it's amazing. Like, it just gives you that motivation just to keep going, especially how I got a guy like Allen Ray, then I got a younger guy. So he definitely helped us, took us under his wing just to show how to be professional, take care of your business, and especially over there because I'm so green, I don't know nothing. And he just making sure, look out for this, watch out for that, don't let them do this, don't let them. It helped out, went a long way.
So how and when did you get the nickname the General?
I got the General when I was at Nebraska, where a fan drew a picture of me in a tank with a hat and stuff like that. They called it and said the General. So that's when I got it, and then I literally like ran with it after that, and it kind of fit me because I'm a point guard who wants to. I'm a leader. I've always been a leader since I was a kid, since I was high school, obviously, and it fit me. And I want to lead my team. I'm very vocal. I like to show how I'm more vocal, but it's more how I play. I play hard, and it just fit me perfectly.
Yeah, and it took you a long way over there in Europe. Now, you have multiple MVPs in Europe, league MVPs, played at the highest level French league. For people who don't know, that is some serious, serious basketball over there. Probably, you're playing in the Euro Cup, so you're playing the best teams from around Europe as a champion of your country.
Yeah.
Things like that. When you look back on those pro years now, do you consider that to be you were the best player that you ever were? Was that college? Like, how do you put that into perspective in your basketball life?
I put it, especially that France year, it was my first year playing in France. I had to adjust because it's like you said, it's one of the top leagues in the world. So it's an up-tempo type of space. Like I said, I'm on one of the bigger guards, so I had to really, really get in shape, really get focused because it's up and down. It's boom. It's boom. So I think that's when felt like really my best, where I felt great. I was more focused because like I said, every game was tough.
What was your playing weight at that time?
I wanted to say it was about 230, and that's still kind of big. Like I said, my college weight was 220, but like that's why I felt great. I felt control. I always found my second wind, my second gear when I was in France. And
I'm seeing some dunk clips on the internet.
Yeah, like that's when I could get up a little bit and not be in pain when I landed. So I was, like I said, I was in the best shape when I was in France because it's a well-organized type of organization. You have your own practice gym inside the arena. Like everything is focused on you getting good. So it was fun.
Any favorite games in Europe? Any favorite cities? What do you really cherish from those years?
My second year, like when I was in Ulm, Germany, like I said, with Alan Ray and them, we played in Cup finals against Berlin. The O2 Arena is my first time like being in one of the big arena in Europe. 20,000 watching the championship game. So that was a fun moment right there because it reminded me of playing in the Big 12, playing in those type of gyms. So that was my first experience of playing in a big gym like that. So that was one I remember.
O2 is a legendary arena, man.
It
You got
is.
Michael Jackson be on stage.
Oh man,
man.
So you go through the hallways of your locker room, they got all the pictures of who performed there and stuff. So that's what I say, that was my first big arena since playing in college that we played in. So that was special. It was nice.
So I remember being around. So I moved here 12 years ago, about 2012. So your career's still going on.
Yeah.
And then so I'm playing in pickup games around the city here and there, and I start hearing your name percolate. Yeah, Lance came by. Oh, Lance is, Lance. And I'm like, okay, I knew the Jeters, and me having family from Beaver Falls,
Yeah.
I was aware. But, it was kind of like your buzz arrived before you did.
Yeah.
And so I've noticed that there's a lot of guys who played pro that I've competed against in different cities, and some of them come home and just rest on their laurels. Yeah, I was great, I did that, and now I don't play no more. But that's not you. You still out there, and you started coming to these gyms and really doing some things out there. And I could tell that you was, sometimes you would just be playing just to stay in shape. Sometimes you would be playing half speed. I knew that you weren't really going, and I appreciated that. My question is, why do you still have that desire? Why are you still out there playing? Where does that come from in terms of still being one of the best players in Western PA?
No, it's just, like you said, I'm at the age now where it's pretty much just it's cardio, stay in shape. But it's also just to get a feel for the younger guys, younger generation, because, like I said, the game evolves. you gotta stay, you gotta evolve with it, or you're gonna get left behind. I'm not trying to evolve with the game no more. I'm too old, but I like to see what different players. Like I said, I played against both of your sons, and just to see different type of games and see like after you get done playing against the younger generation, like, yeah, he got it. Like, he has that mentality, or he has the game to be something. Like, and that's what I look forward to that. I get enjoyment out of playing against the younger people, and just to see they go hard. They know who I am, so and they don't shy from that. They want to kill me. They want to say I destroyed you, and that makes me feel good, because then I know I can still kind of keep up, and I know that they have that mentality to be something. I'm always happy, especially from around here, when I see kids go on to further their careers and go play college basketball. Like, it makes me happy, because a lot of people, like you said earlier, we're looked at as football state and a football Western PA. So when I get these younger guys who are going for basketball, it's nice.
I think you're downplaying your ability that you still have over here. I see you in the summer league. What's the name of that pro-am in the summer?
Which one? There's a couple. We got the Hoop Star League, and we got the Dream Pro-Am.
The Dream Pro-Am, yeah. That looks spicy down there.
Yeah, shout out to my man Gil Cummings, man. He put it together about 6-7 years ago. Yeah, it brings out the city, man. Like, it's intense. It's intense, and like I said, you have your two different types of basketball. You know what I mean? This one, it brings up the urban out of people. Like, they come out the Hill District.
That's what we call it. It brings the urban out.
Yeah, it brings the city out, man. You have, like I said, you have Homewood, you have Wilkinsburg, the Hill. It's great, man. Like I said, I'm happy, I'm proud of him, because he's one of those guys that it wasn't no motion going on in basketball, especially in the city, and he brought that program together, and he brings everybody together, and every year is a great summer. People come together and just compete. You compete. You have the big names come out. They come from overseas or come from college, and they going to compete. So it's great.
Who did work in that league besides yourself? You were definitely holding it down. Who are some of the other names in that league who are a factor?
So we have Antonio Reddick from Aliquippa. He's one of those guys who just you're gonna get every night. You have what do we got?
You stingy with the praise. That's why
like,
I put you on it. You don't like to give nobody no praise. You don't like to give nobody no praise.
I had to put my man in there, Tone Red in there. But there's obviously, like I said, there's the Pitt players come. There's the Duquesne players. All the local schools come. So there's good players. There's a lot of good players there. Troy Simmons is one of the young players who comes there, who's really good. You have DJ Kennedy, obviously, who plays in there. You have
Kane come down.
Drake there every year.
Yep.
And that's the type of players that they bring the city out, because obviously their name holds a lot of weight, and it still does. They're still playing overseas. So when they come to play, and it's a packed house. So I'm just appreciative to just be part of those names.
That's dope. So what do you think about the state of basketball right now? And you've been exposed to it at the highest level, at the professional level. You're still out there seeing how the young guys play. The game has evolved a lot. What's your opinion? There's a lot of debate amongst the OGs about the quality of the game, whether kids really know how to play. Is it all one-on-one? Do they understand the game at the level that they should? Where are you at on all that?
I think my personal belief, I feel like it has watered down a little bit, especially around here. But that doesn't mean that there are certain, you have those moments where you have great teams. I mean, is it as competitive as it used to be? I don't think so, but it comes from the kids. The kids have to want it, I believe. When you have that group that just been together since they were young, and they stay together, they usually have the advantage of being one of those great teams where they buy into what the coach is saying. They don't want to lose. They want to compete. So, do I feel like, me personally, I feel like there should be shot clocks in high school basketball.
Facts.
I feel like it's a disadvantage for teams who like to run it up and go. I feel like it's an advantage for teams who know they're at a disadvantage and they trying to kill the clock and stuff. I feel like if you want to prepare these players to get them ready for college and professionally, why not? Why not have a shot clock? If our goal is to really get them to the next level and get them to be successful at the next level, why wouldn't you have a shot clock?
Yeah, man, I think the PIAA really needs to get into the 20th century. They still in some bygone times with a lot of ways that they do things. And you know, I think that basketball provides a lot of opportunities now that you can make a living as a college athlete, a good living.
As a high school athlete.
As a high school athlete, yeah, that money's coming down here now,
yeah,
right?
So like I said, it's a business now.
It's a business.
It's a business now.
And the PIAA needs to recognize
they got to
that.
see that.
Yeah.
They got to see that. It's a business now. Like you said, kids are now getting paid in high school, so you have to treat it as such.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not. You got to change with the game.
If I'm nice with the violin and they want to pay me to perform in the orchestra, everybody thinks that's cool. But this other skill, which is similar in terms of what we have to, the work you got to put in to develop it, they treat it differently. I think they treat it differently because it's us and because it's mostly poor black kids versus, you know, there's a different look when it comes from a different community. So I hope that the PIAA, you know, gets there.
No, hopefully it does too. Like I said, you're holding the kids back. You're holding them back from what they're trying to achieve, what they're trying to reach. Are they fortunate enough to go to school? They're a little bit behind because now they got to speed their game up. Now they got to think quicker. Now they got to get in the office quicker because there's a shot clock. So I think hopefully they'll wake up soon. But
you heard the man, PIAA, wake up, baby, coming to you from WIP Appeal. So yeah, man, before I get you out of here, you know, you're definitely known for your sneakers, and your shoe game has always been something. So what type of stash are we talking about here, man? Like, give me a peek into the archives.
I got some stuff that's never worn, about 13, 14 years old.
What are you waiting for?
I ain't waiting for nothing. I used to wait because I didn't have time to wear them because I only be home in the summer. But now I mostly wear most of my stuff. But now it's comfortable shoes now. My feet.
Yeah,
I'm too old now, man.
Some of them joints do be hurting.
Oh, the joys, man.
They be hurting.
But my son, my oldest, he's 13. He wears a size 14 now.
What? Oh, we got one of them ones coming up?
So
he's
anything he gets them.
Wow, okay. So what are some of the first pair of shoes that you had that really you were like, when you were a kid, you were like, oh man, I got these. Do you remember what those were?
Oh, man. I can't remember the first one. I just know, honestly, like, I would really remember, like, my mom, single parent, raised me and my brother. My dad, never seen him and stuff. But my one birthday sent me about like $120 to get a pair of shoes. So I went to go buy some shoes, nothing crazy, but just something. And I just like really remember, like, when I get older and I can afford it, like I love shoes. I'm just gonna buy like all the shoes I want. Like, and unfortunately, I got to that point where I could buy any of those shoes I want, and I got to that point. But my first big one I got was Red Octobers, Kanye. That's one I was proud of. A lot of, obviously, all the Jordans. But like I said, now there's a lot of stuff stashed away, but my oldest gets them. He gets all the shoes that I don't wear.
He don't even know how good he has it.
He knows.
You let him know?
His collection is up there. It's up there with the rest. He got me beat now for sure.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, most of my stuff is to him now, but I still have some stuff where I don't let him touch yet, but he got to do some amazing things to get those stuff, like, you know what I mean, win state championships, 4.0 type stuff.
There you go.
Those, like I said, he can have all my shoes as long as you work for them. You work for them, you get them. Do what you're supposed to do.
Favorite shoes to hoop in?
Kobe's, Nike. Like,
I can't go against Nike. I can't. It's like at Nebraska, I had all the D Roses. This is at the height of his career.
Yep.
Well, I'm talking about, as soon as I got professional, it was straight Nike. Everything's Nike. But Kobe, all day, Kobe is my favorite shoe.
What you think about them releasing more Kobe's in more quantity so they're not so hard to get? Apparently that's the plan over at Nike. Do you think that's a good idea?
That's a great idea. That's a great idea because, like I said, I had all the Kobe's when I was playing professionally and kept them and stuff. And most of the time, he's still alive. I sold him, got rid of him and stuff. And then unfortunately, when he passed, like it just skyrocketed. And it's like, that's crazy. Because it's like, they're living and being off of his.
They're capitalizing on his death.
And it's sad.
Making money off it.
Now it's hard to get Kobe's. People who actually love his shoe, love to play in them, not just to have them or resell them. People who actually love them and just to wear them because they're comfortable, can't get them. So for his wife just to make them more affordable and more of them so people can play in them. And obviously it's the most worn shoe in the NBA and stuff. So it's beautiful just how they keep his name alive because he definitely deserves it. He's my favorite player. So just to see that and just to see the kids wear it, and I'm happy. My son wears them, my youngest son, so I'm happy.
Kobe's your favorite player?
Favorite player. Jordan's the best player. I got Kobe second, Bron third.
Shout to Coltrane behind the camera. We're going to have that debate later. Okay, yeah, that's what. Jordan, then Kobe, and then Bron. Yeah, okay, I'm with it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love Jordan, obviously, shoes-wise, player-wise. I mean, you don't get Kobe without Jordan, so I understand that.
And MJ passed the mantle to him.
Did.
Right?
Yes, he did.
He passed it to him.
I mean, Kobe got his whole game. You can't lie about it. So it's Jordan for me as the best player. Obviously Kobe second because I love him. Yeah, I love Bron too. I'm at that point now where I just appreciate the players now, man. Like you said, you just don't know when they're not gonna be with us or when they're retired. So at this point, I appreciate LeBron. Just every chance you get to watch him, just appreciate the things he could do at that age. Appreciate Steph Curry, the stuff that he's doing. Like that's what real basketball people are. I mean, you just appreciate the greatness of players and who they are.
Yeah, man. Well, Lance, you're a real player. You're a great player, and your greatness will always be remembered. And congratulations on becoming the first
son, mother,
yeah. Son, father, son, anybody, man.
Yep. Shout out to Joy Jeek, man.
Yeah, man. And having competed against you and having watched your clips and having heard about you, I appreciate what you've given. When you come in the gym, it elevates everybody's play because of the way you play, because of who you are, because of how serious you take it. And so that helps kids get better even to this day. So you're still giving to the game, man. And we salute you.
I appreciate you, man, especially all the work you do, especially the books, all that, the interviews and stuff. And you're somebody to look up to. And if you don't know, get to know him. Legend right here, man. Legend.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dope.